In recent days, the major stock indices in the US have erased nearly all the gains they had accumulated since Donald Trump's electoral victory. This sharp decline isn't just about market fluctuations. It reflects growing concerns over the economic policies his administration is signaling. Trump's threats of a trade war are raising alarms about potential large-scale wealth destruction, not just within the US, but also globally. However, beyond the immediate risks of tariffs and retaliatory measures, a more unsettling fear is spreading among investors. Could Trump's administration be intentionally steering the U.S. toward a recession? This speculation has gained a lot of traction recently, not just due to market trends, but also because of statements made by key figures within Trump's administration, particularly Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and even Trump himself. Their comments suggest that a downturn might not only be expected, but potentially intentionally engineered. The idea that Trump's government might be actively facilitating a recession isn't just a baseless claim. It stems from statements that, while of course are open to interpretation, suggest a deliberate strategy. For example, Scott Bessent recently stated,
top 10% of Americans are 40 or 50% of consumption, and that is an unstable equilibrium. The bottom 50% of working Americans have gotten killed. We are trying to address that. We're trying to get rates down, and could we be seeing that this economy that we inherited starting to roll a bit? Sure. And look, there's going to be a natural adjustment as we move away from public spending to private spending. The market and the economy have just become hooked. We've become addicted to this government spending, and there's going to be a detox period.
Donald Trump echoed a similar sentiment when asked about the likelihood of a recession in 2025, responding,
I ask you about Ukraine and the blow up the other day with Zelensky. Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition, because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great.
Taken at face value, these comments might be seen as standard economic reasoning. However, they also imply that Trump's administration is fully aware of and possibly even embracing the risk of a recession as part of its strategy. This raises a key question. Why would Trump and his economic team be interested in triggering a downturn in the economy? Why would Trump want a recession? Why? At first glance, it seems illogical for any administration to intentionally cause an economic slowdown. However, there are at least two major reasons why Trump and Bessent might see a recession as strategically beneficial. The first reason is lower interest rates. The U.S. Treasury faces an enormous debt refinancing challenge in 2025, with a staggering $9 trillion in government bonds maturing. If these bonds are refinanced at a 5% interest rate, the annual interest cost to the government would be $450 billion. If refinanced at a 3% interest rate, the cost drops to $270 billion, so $180 billion savings. Lower interest rates also benefit Trump's core voter base, particularly small business owners and those with a lot of debt who rely on cheap borrowing. By slowing economic growth, reducing inflationary pressures, and making the Federal Reserve more likely to cut rates by creating economic uncertainty, which could force the Fed to prioritize stimulus measures, including interest rate reductions to stabilize markets. And number two is weakening the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar has been strong due to high interest rates and Trump's previous trade policies. However, a strong dollar makes American exports more expensive, hurting manufacturing and trade here in America. A weaker dollar could boost exports and make U.S. products more competitive in global markets. So, by allowing a controlled recession, Trump could force down the value of the U.S. dollar while also securing lower interest rates, potentially setting up a recovery cycle that aligns with his political timeline. There's another reason why a short-term recession might actually work in Trump's favor. If a downturn happens early in his term, it would give his administration time to pivot into recovery before the midterm elections, And by 2026, during the midterm elections, the economy could be rebounding, allowing Trump to campaign on a comeback story, saying, look, we fixed Biden's broken economy. This strategy has led some analysts to compare Trump's approach to that of Javier Milei in Argentina, because when Milei took office in 2023, he immediately slashed government spending to stabilize Argentina's economy. While this led to a short but painful recession, the country has already started to recover. Inflation is falling, and Argentina has transitioned from fiscal deficits to surpluses faster than expected. So could Trump be trying to replicate Javier Milei's strategy here in America? Many people think so. However, there's a critical difference. Argentina's economy was collapsing due to runaway inflation, making austerity measures essential. The United States isn't in a comparable crisis. A recession caused by trade wars and political uncertainty wouldn't be a necessary detox for economic health. It would be self-inflicted damage. If Trump's administration were purely focused on reducing government spending, the potential for economic harm right now might be justified by long-term benefits. However, the biggest risk of a U.S. recession isn't just spending cuts, it's the political instability and trade policies that Trump is championing. Uncertainty about government policies is currently at its highest level in 40 years, obviously excluding the COVID crisis. This uncertainty discourages investment, it slows hiring, and it undermines confidence in the U.S. economy. Unlike Milei's reforms, which had a clear goal of stabilizing Argentina's economy, Trump's mix of protectionism here, tariffs there, and just unpredictability could push the U.S. into a recession that serves no greater purpose. A trade war doesn't create short-term pain for long-term gain. It simply damages the economy without a clear path to recovery. That doesn't mean that the Trump administration should be obsessed with avoiding a recession at all costs. In fact, sometimes short-term economic contractions are absolutely necessary to achieve long-term stability. However, deliberately engineering a recession through trade wars and political uncertainty is reckless. He should focus on deregulation and reducing government bloat, not creating chaos and that could potentially derail the economy. If Trump is truly serious about economic growth, in my opinion, it should prioritize stable and predictable policies that encourage investment, targeted deregulation to free up businesses, and of course, reducing harmful tariffs that disrupt supply chains, not these blanket tariffs that do not really benefit our country. The U.S. economy has weathered recessions before, but creating one unnecessarily is a dangerous gamble, one that could potentially backfire spectacularly if the recovery doesn't come fast enough. Will Trump's strategy work? Only time will tell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to watch this one here or this video here. And I'll see you in the next one.